behind the ear. Otherwise, your ear will also be cut. If you have seen in the Olympics archery, they have a protecting gear that they wear on their arm. Why? Because the recoiling of the string can strip your entire skin out if you are not efficiently using it, if you don't know how to use it. Akarna paryantam, that which is strung all the way up to the ear. So this, one side is a problem, other side is this angry Shiva who is holding this. He said, Bhagavan, I know I have sinned, I know I have done mistakes, I know I have, but this is not the time to punish me. I have come here as seeking your refuge. Promising in all possible ways that I will mend my ways, but I need your protection, I need your assurance. Then once he grows out of that guilt, the devotee, when he grows out of that guilt, is when he understands that he is getting angry and holding this bow and arrow, not aiming at me, but in order to protect me. Sometimes it happens, right? That the child, as a child, you are standing. I don't know about all of you growing up, but when I was growing up, there were two things that were alternately happening almost every day. One, a cut or a bruise or a scrape, which required couple of band-aids, almost alternate day. Or somebody from the neighborhood complaining that your son and their friends broke the window playing cricket or rampaged their garden or something or the other. So you see these people complaining and you are standing there in sandwiched between the parents and you see them getting angry at you. There are butterflies in the bottom of your stomach. I very vividly remember meekly trying to squeeze out of that way. Said, just stand here. But sometimes when it is not your mistake, but you have left your trail of incidents in the past, anything happening in the neighborhood, they would assume that it is you. And then you claim that I really don't know this is. And then once the parents believe and they take your stand, there is the confidence then. I have gone through, so I know what I'm speaking. So that's the same thing with the Lord, that you stand in front of Him, scared of even of the Lord. But once you change and grow out of that guilt and have that complete trust, then you see that He is not angry on you, but He is angry with that would be disturbing you. So Bhagavan, His another name, Sudhanva, is one name. The other name is Sharangadhara. Sharanga is his. Sharanga is a apabhramsha. It is Sharanga. But in colloquial, as we use it, it becomes Sharanga. Sharanga is the name of his bow. Sudhanva, the one who is holding a very beautiful bow, and even in his holding that beautiful bow, it is not like a novice holding it, but there is a grace in holding that even. The bow in itself is graceful, his stance is graceful, and the way he is holding it shows that expertise and finesse in it. Therefore, that word su is added. In Gujarati, if you add su, it means what or how, right? Shu. Sa means as a positive, good thing, adjective. So here, su is adding the positive glory. Shobhanam indriyadi mayam dhanuhu asya asti iti sudhanva. The one who is holding that sharanga as his bow, therefore he is called Sudhanva. In each avatar, he has been a prominent user of different kinds of astra shastra. There is one avatar where he is known as the Parashudhari. Which avatar is it? In fact, he is named Rama to make that distinction between that Rama and the next Rama. There's a Parashurama and Kodanda Rama. Kodanda was the name of the bow that Bhagavan Rama was holding, which was given to him by Lord Shiva himself. Again, between Lord Shiva and Rama, there was complete understanding. There was never a confusion that Shiva is the god of Dravidians and Rama is the god of Aryans. There was no such confusion. Between them, they had a completely mutually respecting relation. So Kodanda Rama is the Rama who killed Kumbhakarna and Ravana. Parashurama, on the other hand, is the one who wiped the entire earth clean several times of all the corrupt kings. Many times, even going through this election phase right now, you don't know how many times I have thought, this would be the right time for that Parashurama to take avatar, to wipe clean all these corrupt people all across the globe. And within his lifetime, he had cleaned up 19-20 times. How many people he had cleaned up? And his parashu was called the Akhanda. His parashu name was called Akhanda. Therefore, when we are chanting this particular line, it is Sudhanva Khanda Parashuhu. It is not Sudhanva and Khanda Parashuhu. It becomes Sudhanva and Akhanda Parashuhu. That who was holding the parashu, the axe, named as Akhanda. And Adi Shankaracharya ji says, even if you do the Sandhi Vichcheda as Khanda Parashuhu, the one who used that parashu, the axe, to break into fragments all the sin and people who are following such sinister life. Therefore, you can call it as Khanda Parashu, that which broke all such kings who were living a life full of sin. Khanda Parashu. So it is both meanings are accepted. But if we take that Parashu's name, then it is Akhanda Parashu. Sudhanva Akhanda Parashuhu. Darunaha. Darunaha, the literal translation of the word Daruna means merciless. It's a very terrifying name for the Lord. We call him as the Lord of Mercy. And the name that we call him with is, O Merciless One, show mercy. It doesn't kind of suit. Again, the reference point has to be understood when we are going through Vedanta. If the reference point is not understood, the meaning and the word can be misinterpreted, misrepresented. Many of you hasty readers, hasty in their system of trying to grasp or understand or evaluate with their limited knowledge of how it has to be used, the words and the language, sometimes tend to misinterpret it. Therefore, I can vouch and say that when you read, say, Manusmriti, and people, I won't say that they are hasty in their conclusions, but the books that they have read are from those people who have gone through, read the what you call the interpretations of the hasty conclusion from those so-called proclaimed academicians. I gave you the other day the example of Ganapati and Senapati. There are so many such wrong interpretations. So here, when we read this particular word or verse, when he say darunaha, merciless, merciless with respect to what? Therefore, Adi Shankaracharya ji puts it beautifully. He says, Sanmarga virodhinam darunatvat. He is merciless with respect to who? Those who are following Sanmarga, the righteous path. Virodhinam, and those who obstruct the people following righteous path. To such people who are obstructing, creating a roadblock for the righteous people to lead their righteous way of life, to them he is merciless. It is not like the Greek gods, wherein you don't worship this god and suddenly the god will feel miserable, left out, and feel that they have to carry out their vengeance on the devotees. If it were that kind of god system, probably I would have also picked up arm against that god. That these gods are vengeful in nature. Why? Your own Vishnu sahasranam says he is darunaha, merciless. See, the reason I am trying to reiterate these words again and again, especially such ones, is there are quite a few who have read through Vishnu Sahasranama or Bhagavad Gita to interpret it to fellow Hindus, whether it is here or back in India, to say that your God will not protect you. Our God has given his life so that he can protect you. Why? Your own Vishnu Sahasranama says he is merciless. He will not show mercy. I've overheard people interpreting Bhagavad Gita as the book of vengeful violence. Poor Arjuna was the compassionate one. He did not want to kill. It was the Krishna who made sure that Arjuna was brainwashed to kill his own kith and kin. How can such violent book be the book of guidance, peace? Long ago, about 10, 11 years ago, I was invited by a seminary. Did I say it right? Where they train the theology of the Christian, where they train their brothers, fathers, nuns. So in that seminary, I was invited to conduct a course for 6 months. It's somewhere between Dallas and Fort Worth. There is a big seminary. To conduct a course for 6 months on Bhagavad Gita. So it came through, somebody prominent in this society, Hindu. I said, Swamiji, these people have approached. Will you have time to go and teach Bhagavad Gita? The Christians are now opening up. They want to listen to Bhagavad Gita. This is how it was presented to. So I went there. First day I gave the introduction to Hinduism, 1 hour. Then next hour I was there for 3 hours. So total of 5 hours I stayed. So 3 lectures, and each lecture followed by a 15 to 20-minute question answers. It was supposed to be 3 lectures. By the first lecture end, the kind of questions that they were asking, and on the top of my lungs, I know that I was speaking without any ambiguity. But how they were quoting what I just said and misrepresenting it and taking it out of context to add their questions made it very clear. So right at the first hour question answers, I asked them point blank, do you want me to teach what Bhagavad Gita stands for? Or do you want me to give the information of Bhagavad Gita so that you can interpret it with the baseless questions that you have been portraying? And the one who was asking these questions, he was trying to be benevolent. And saying, no, we are not trying to corner you with these questions, but this is how it is usually understood by a common man. Then I took the entire turf the other way. I said, okay, if you say that this is the kind of confusion, there are people who come to me asking about Bible, and these are the questions that they ask. I clarify it to them this way. Rather than increasing their doubts, I decrease them. Your questions don't give me the confidence of clarifying or reducing the confusion. It seems to instigate more of it. I could have gone back and called or put you an email saying I want to withdraw, but it would be not nice on my part. I am upfront telling it to you right now that I am not going to conduct the rest of the day or continue with for the next 6 months. Because your intentions are not very clear or pure. Because they are being misinterpreted. They can pick this particular word. And there are enough, I don't know, should I be very harsh? Enough fellow dumb Hindus who would take that argument and say that this must be true. I'm not making it out of my hat. I've had such people come and argue with. Fellow Hindus. Therefore, I am taking extra time on these kinds of words, wherein I'm trying to reach across that the standpoint with this particular word is being used has to be equally understood, not just the word meaning. So who is he merciless towards? In very clear terms, in 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Those who are sadhu, to protect them, and the asadhutva to be removed, annihilated. Now, another question. Let me take this a little more intimate at a personal level. Between the sadhutva and asadhutva, saintly traits and unsaintly traits within ourselves, which one weighs heavy? Don't need to answer me. We know it. So Darunaha, the one who, being the very core of our own being, protects us and our saintly traits from our own unsaintly traits. Because who is the biggest stumbling block for my spiritual growth? Not my wife, not my husband, not my children, not my environment. It is on my own self. Okay, Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Sahasranama aside. Have you ever scolded your children? Come on, I am on record, you are not. It is not even focusing on you. Even a small nod is okay, understandable. You have. Have you ever given them top spins? You know what I mean. Backhand smash. You know what I'm talking, right? For this, even if you can move your eyelids, you have? A corner or timeout or face the wall or murga or I still wonder as to how this timeout concept works. Because if timeout was given as a concept for me as a punishment back in India, that would have been the most chill punishment for me. I would have enjoyed it. I wouldn't have taken it as a punishment at all. But it seems to work wonders on these kids. Timeout, okay? No, okay, fine. That they don't even know how to. So when you scold your children, after having scolded them, when you take them close again, what is the first thing that you tell them? I was not trying to be the evil one. I was trying to protect you from yourself. Have you said something to that order? I am not the demon here. But okay, sorry, but then what you did, was it right? No, but okay, sorry, but still, what you did, was it right? Don't we get to them at their level? On one hand, you are trying to say sorry, on the other hand, you also say that I am not that sorry. Am I getting across? Now, as a parent, when we scold our own child for their own well-being, is it being a tyrant, merciless mother or a father? Or is it born out of love? Oh, we also make that statement. I am not the enemy here, I am doing it because I love you. And the child standing there looks at you, gives you that look and says, love, this, I don't know how to consider this as love. And when you have that age group kids talking to each other, my mommy said, my mommy also says the same thing. When we used to share growing up, and I used to hear that every parent has a similar dialogue. So I used to assume that as soon as they get married, while the mother is still carrying the baby, they go through a crash course of how to scold your children. Because the dialogues are all similar. I am not your enemy. I'm scolding you only for your sake. Because I love you. For the child's mind, it doesn't settle in. If you love me, then why are you scolding me? It doesn't seem to be matching. So when he has to correct someone, he is merciless. Do you think the kids don't understand this? When the father or mother is in a bad mood, they have signals within themselves. If they're trying to act tanky or trying to ask or something, not now. Why? If you go now, then they will remove the entire list of you not keeping your room clean, not keeping your grades up, and wasting your time on this and that, and your phone calls are getting higher, and you will get the whole list of it read out. Don't go right now. They also know. Though they may protest saying that I don't see your love when you're scolding me, they understand. Similarly, when Bhagavan is said here as Darunaha, merciless, it is not that he does not possess mercy. It is not like he does not forgive. But when it needs to be corrected, he does not spare that wrong trait, and that will be disciplined. Therefore, he is called Darunaha. Now, if you don't scold, I tell you, parenting is a tough job. And this is only by observation, okay? Don't give me the look. What do you know? Sitting on the pulpit and talking about it, what do you know? Huh? Have you given birth or have you raised the children? Neither. You are not qualified. Just as a witness of things happening. When you raise kids, if you correct them, you are damned. Don't correct them. They come back to you and say, at that time I was a child, I did not know better, you should have corrected me. Do your damned, don't your damned. If you understand your position as a parent, to understand Bhagavan's position as the Jagadishwara becomes easy. And what is his greatness or benevolence? In spite of the devotees talking back about him, talking ill about him, he still does not take it to heart, but still provide and take care. Where the child says something, Mommy, I hate you. So I saw this mother very bravely face that kind of a criticism from her own child, saying, if you hate me, that means I am doing a good job of being a mother. Thank you for hating me. And the kid didn't know what to say. Darunaha. Dravinapradaha. Dravinam vanchitam pradadati iti. Bhaktebhyaha dravinam vanchitam pradadati. See, when we stand in front of the Lord, we don't understand the larger scheme of things that are happening around. We have a tunnel vision. What is important is now, what is important is here, and this is the most crucial thing for me. And we go with a entitled feeling that I am your devotee and you need to take care of me at this level. Meaning what? I have certain desires and demands, you better fulfill them. Thereby Gurudev says it beautifully. He says, we get what we deserve, though not what we desire. Because many times we don't have the wisdom to even ask or even to know what to ask. If we had that wisdom, then okay. So I commonly tell this story. One day, a sannyasi traveling from one village to the other, tired, found a nice banyan tree, a nice chabutra around it, nice raised platform. So he cleaned up a little bit, put his angavastra and lied down. He was tired. As he was lying down, he saw the tree. He said, Bhagavan, how funny is your creation? To tell you a fact, you suck at it. Such a huge tree. And look at the fruits that you have for such big tree. Small, fruits. A weak plant like watermelon or cantaloupe, such huge fruits that it can't even bear it. What a disproportionate creation is yours. These fruits should be on the size, should be on the watermelon, and that size of watermelon should be on this plant because it can bear it. And while thinking that, he slept. And when he woke up, he saw many leaves, twigs, and these fruits, fallen all over him. And then he remembered what thought he slept with. He said, Bhagavan, cancel. You exactly know how proportionate this world has to be maintained. Why he realized that while sleeping, instead of this size fruits, if this size fruits fell on him, what would have happened? This is not a chaos. It is a well-planned cosmos. Well thought out. So he exactly knows when to give what to that particular person for their next step of growth. As is the case with many, we have too many questions. But I want to know, what is it, that the whole big picture? And when the kids demand the big picture, I say, stop unnecessarily wasting your time. This is it, this much you will be told, and this is how you have to do it. Why? Beyond which there is no scope for you to understand that, the bigger picture. Because sometimes you reveal the bigger picture, they may not be interested or they may not even like the direction of where it is going. And they may be too soon to conclude things out of their own immaturity. Similarly here, Dravida Pradaha Bhaktebhyaha Pradadati, the one who gives abundantly to the devotees. Dravinam vanchitam. That which is desired, that which is asked of the Lord by the devotee will be given. But how much, when, and how to, that he decides. Sometimes it is not just giving what we ask, sometimes it may be the exact contradicting to what we have asked. And it may seem like, blocking my very effort to grow, seem like. And the best example is Lord Ganesha. He is worshipped as both names. Vighna Rajaya Namaha. What does Vighna Rajaya Namaha mean? Raja, king. Vighna, trouble, obstacles. The king of obstacles who knows what kind of obstacles to be provided. Okay? I thought that Ganesha is obstacle remover. Sometimes he has to provide those obstacles so that that is the right method for us to grow. Have you ever hit the gym? Right? When you want to tone your muscles, what do? You start with weights, right? What do the weights do? It is the resistance. Without that resistance, can you tone your muscles? As you are using those weights, you will feel the burn. Now, I'm not talking about the other feel the burn thing. This is a literal muscle burn that you feel. And can we say that the weights are wrong? The weights are bad? No, that resistance is necessary so that you can tone yourself to a healthy body. Similarly, in life, sometimes to tone our ego, sometimes to tone our experience, sometimes to enrich, it can happen only through trouble. Has anybody acquired gold as an ore in its purest form? If it is in its purest form, it is not called an ore. Now, once you get that gold, the Californian surge, was it in 1800s? The people would, go into those rivers and keep digging and finding gold. And after that gold is retrieved, it goes through severe cleansing process. After the pure gold is retrieved, all the blemishes are thrown away. To find stability so that the jeweler can work with it, a certain amount of copper or a certain metal is added in so that it can be amicably used. In its purest state, we cannot use it. Therefore, when you go into the market, you will find 18 karat, 22 karat. Maximum you will find is 24 karat. Beyond which it will be brittle, you cannot use it. So sometimes we have to provide that so-called blemish so that it can be used to a better level. And it's he who provides. So when it is said, Dravinam vanchitam bhaktebhyaha pradadati, the one who gives whatever you desire, he is not a fool sitting there opening his shop saying, Jo chahiye, jitna chahiye pucho. Whatever you want, how much ever you want, keep asking. I'll keep giving. Another way to look at it, another angle. When you send your children to a camp or a field trip or any such, don't you send them fully equipped? Emergency money, maybe a card if they are of that age where they can handle. Not the playing cards, I'm talking of the credit card. A cell phone, medicines, depending on the weather, on the climate, or the warm clothes and other things required. Don't we provide for everything and more? We as mortals, when we talk of our own children, we take so good care. Don't we? Now you can blame me that I have never raised kids. You have. You provide. When we send them out for 2-3 days, we take this extra care. Do you think when the Lord is sending us into this world, He has not already provided everything that is required by us? And that which He has already provided, how much of it have we ever used? The grey and white matter, the brain. How much of our brain is that we can use or we use normally? I am not a neurologist. 5 to 10%? Even that 5% is, I would say, on the higher end. On average, 2 to 3% is where we all lie. And what is the benevolence of that Lord? I have seen you people, generations after generations, you don't even use more than 2%. Therefore, ration, cut. Give you brain only that much. He has given 2 years to listen more and speak less. Otherwise, he would have given 2 mouths and 1 ear. I'm just visualizing it in my own caricature way. He has kept the eyelashes for the eyes but no doors for the ears. Meaning what? Don't try to block all the words or sounds or interactions. Listen to everything keenly. But filter out that which is non-essential. What do? We do exactly opposite. We do filter out. And that which are non-essentials, we carry it. Maybe even that Atlas who was carrying the globe gets a break. But we hold on to it like a treasure. All the non-essentials, all the non-required ones. And that's why we have to be reminded when we are taking a photograph. Please smile for a change. Because the entire burden of this creation seems to be on our head. What happened? Life. Don't we have such dialogues? He has already provided enough. And that which He has already provided, we have to know how to use it. Therefore, we don't even need to come into that altar asking, Bhagavan, give me this, give me that, take away this. Nothing is required. In fact, the best thing to pray, God, give me strength, courage, wisdom. Strength to change myself, courage to accept those who are around me as they are, wisdom to constantly keep this knowledge ever lit, dhiyo yona prachodayat, constantly lit, so that I can follow my life without any ambiguity. That's all we need to ask for. Because everything else is provided. In spite of that, like if your children need something, they go ask their neighbors, your neighbors. They're feeling hungry, so they go to the neighbors. What do you have today for lunch? What happened to your mother? Nah. What are the kind of warm clothes do you have? What are the kinds of shoes that you have? And then take it, put it in. Would you like it? What would you say to your child if they do like that? Would it be just saying? I'm just asking. We are here to provide for everything that you require. You don't need to go ask every Tom, Dick and Harry out there. Don't we yell at them? If you're not, please yell at them. If they do such things. Similarly, when God is here to provide, why ask anybody else in the world? If at all you have to ask, because He already provided and we don't understand that, and you have to end up asking, ask that one who can actually provide. Dravena pradaha. So many different angles with one word. Divasprit sarvadrit vyasaha. Divaksprit. Divaha sprik. Divaha sparshanat divasprik. What does divasprik mean? The one who reaches to the outer extremes of the sky. What? What does this even mean? The one who enters our life, the devotee's life, in the form of knowledge, through which we can reach to that eternity which is called Divaha Sprik. That heavens where He resides. What takes us there? What takes us to the Lord? Is this knowledge. But Swamiji, they say bhakti is the only way. Even to know what is bhakti, isn't the basis knowledge there? To offer services is the way. To know how to offer those services, isn't it knowledge again? Therefore, here again and again it is said that it is knowledge. So, Divaspruk, meaning that which takes us to His abode, is that knowledge. That wisdom, that knowledge is called Divaspruk. Sarvadrik Vyasaha. Sarvadrik Vyasaha. Our Bhishma Maharaj seems to love his half-brother. Because who is the author of this Vishnu Sahasranama? Is Bhishma. Bhishma gave this wisdom to Yudhishthira. You know, in the beginning we have Yudhishthira uvacha kime kam daivatam loke kim vapyekam parayanam स्तुवन्तः कं कमर्चन्तः प्राप्नुयुर्मानवा शुभम्. मानवाः प्राप्नुयाः शुभम्. Tell me one method. He asks 7 questions. Concluding, he says, tell me one method through which not just me but the entire humanity will benefit. So to answer that Yudhishthira, who answers? Shri Bhishma Uvacha Jagat Prabhum Devadevam Anantam Purushottamam Stuvan Nama Sahasrena Purushasya Tadotthitaha Tameva Charchayan Nityam Bhaktya Purusham Avyayam. So who gave this entire Vishnu Sahasranama? Bhishma Maharaj gave this knowledge. And in that he mentions more than once, because the other day we read the full name of Veda Vyasa. What is his full name? Come on, it was just the other day. S.K.D. Vyas. Shri Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. And today in this shloka again he is repeating it. He says Sarvadrig Vyasaha. That Shri Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa is Sarvadrig Vyasaha. He is a very comprehensive visionary. Very rarely we come across such visionaries. Imagine 5,100 years ago, the entire system of Vaidika Samskriti was only based on Shravana. That you listen from the Gurus, learn, memorize, experience, and then teach that to your next generation of students. So much so that each Shakha of Veda had parted its ways from the Vedas themselves. It's like, various religions, they have different sects and they cannot stand each other. They're ready to get onto each other's throats. We see that even today. In those days it was like that. The Yajush Shakha was being practiced in certain area. Rig Veda was practiced in certain area. Sama Veda was practiced in another area. Atharva Veda was practiced in farther northwest. To even go to each one of these branches to learn all branches of Veda, the first step. Can you imagine how much effort he must have put to go to different Gurukulas? Each one with their own idiosyncrasies. Learn from them as a student. If you run your own Gurukula, you would have been very prominent. But he put that aside. As a student, again and again, he went across to different Gurukulas, learning their different shakhas, memorizing all of them, so that he could bring these 4 together. And not just bringing them together. If there is some pratha, some kind of a system, tradition that we are following, and we take a method for the benefit of society to go exactly opposite to that tradition, how would those traditionalists react to it? I know for not long ago, about 50, 60 years ago, when Gurudev started speaking in English, people vehemently objected, threatened that he would be caught and molten lead will be poured into his ears and mouth so that he could never hear or never speak on this Vedic knowledge. But he used to have a humorous answer for them. So, do you know, to be even born as a Brahmin, it takes 1,000 lives of punya. They used to say, one life punya to get moksha. Are you ready for that? I mean, these are all recorded. Not long ago, he went through it to make that change. Imagine Vedavyasji, how much resistance he must have gotten through to put the Shravana into Likhita. Compiled all the 4 Vedas into a documented text for the first time ever. What an amazing visionary that he must have been. In those days when it was not a tradition, to create that tradition, it must have taken the courage of steel to stand up to people, to explain, to commit them, to convince them. And there was always this confusion between my God versus your God. Oh my God. Vaishnavas will not get even into drink the water from a Shaiva house. Shaiva will not even enter into a Vaishnava village. So rooted in their... Even today we have so many such practices. See, technically speaking, again, another brave step I would say. Once you have taken sannyasa, you should not travel beyond the Sapta Sagar. Travel beyond these 7 oceans. Stay put, focus on your sadhana. See, there is a book called As I Think by Gurudev. If you ever get an opportunity, read that. And his request to all these swamis, sannyasis and brahmacharis was, for the sake of society, can you put these things, postpone it for one more life? Let us dedicate this life to uplift. But you're going exactly against what it is laid down as a... Why did he put that? It takes a lot of conviction to go against the grain of tradition. Why talk of religion? How many years has it been US independence? US of A. Huh? 250, close to 250. There have been countries, smaller countries, primitive countries, underdeveloping countries, not even developed, not even developing, underdeveloped, where we have had women premiers, leaders, leading those countries way back, what, 40, 50, 60 years ago, when we did not even give voting rights to the black in this country. There were women leading those countries. Before the first term of Obama, in the Times, there was a opinion poll. If Jesus were to be and they had four options: a Hispanic, a black, or an Asian, or a woman. Which one would you accept? The first three options were okay in different proportions. Men and women said they were okay with it. Even women did not like a woman to be in the position of Jesus. You talk of men being anti-feminist. Women themselves did not like that provision for themselves. What to talk of men? To have a woman come as the main lead, traditionalists will not agree. And to break that tradition, it takes such a long time. And we are seeing here 250 years and yet to be broken. And for a single person to break all those traditions and to bring it as a mainstream, can you imagine what kind of visionary that he must have been, what effort that he must have been putting across? Therefore, he mentions his name again and says here as Sarvadrik Vyasaha. The last word in the shloka, he says, Devikspuk Sarvadrik Vyaso Vachaspati Rayo Nijaha. Vachaspatihi Ayonijaha. Sometimes we find in certain non-traditionalists who would interpret this as two words. But here Adi Shankaracharya ji again in his commentary he says that Ayonijaha iti savisheshanam ekam namam. Ayonija is the adjective of Vachaspati, therefore they should not be taken as two words but as one word. So when you ask people how many names are there in Vishnu sahasranam, some say 1000, some say 100, 1008, some say 1011. Where are they getting these extra names from? Are you following what I am asking? This is 1008 names in Vishnu Sahasranama. Hey bhai, Vishnu Sahasranama. Vishnu's 1000 names. And how did it become 1008? Because people, interpret these as two words. There are many such, wherein the adjectives are taken as a separate noun. So here he says, no, this is a visheshana of the first word. Vachaspatihi. Vachaha vidyayaha patihi. Iti vachaspatihi. Vachaha means knowledge, vidya. Tasya patihi, the one who has mastered the knowledge. Now when it is said here that mastered the knowledge, it is not that they have learned Sanskrit, it is not that they have memorized it. It is that they have experienced that which this knowledge is pointing towards. When you say expert chef, in this particular cuisine, he is the expert chef. Does it mean that they have memorized 6, 7, 10, 20 recipe books? Do you call them as experts? Or the one who can translate those recipe books into something edible, something tangible as their own personal experience. You call them as experts, right? Similarly, here Vidyapatihi does not mean somebody who has memorized them, but having memorized them, they have also experienced that which this Vidya is pointing towards. And what is it pointing towards? अयोनिजः, जनन्याम न जात इति अयोनिजः. The one who is not born is called ayonija. Everything else that is born is matter. And that which is unborn is that consciousness. And what does this vidya point towards? That unborn truth, that indivisible truth. And that indivisible truth is the Lord, which is known as an experience, personal experience, through the vidya, which points directly towards that Lord, nothing else. Vachaspatihi ayonijaha. We will continue one more shloka tomorrow. So today we just concluded 573rd name of the Lord. We will continue with the 574th tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanta Shanta Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.